Hello there and a very warm welcome to the program. I am Victor Matthias. The traditional media, including the newspaper, television and radio, has over the years been the medium through which the government communicates with the citizenry. However, the social media is fast becoming a means to not only inform but engage the citizens on development, agenda as well as successes and shortcomings of government. Advancements in technology and its embrace by the wider world has made social media the top avenue to reach out to the educated youth of the nation. With millions of Nigerians online, governments at different levels are beginning to discover the wisdom of making its presence known on social media. Today on the program, we discuss with the influencers of social cyberspace and Governor of Ekiti State, Dr. Kayode Fayemi, on the efforts and plans of governments to make the most use of new media as a tool for social and economic development. Before that, let's take a look at other trending topics on the social cyberspace. United. Manchester United started once again on their quest to retain the English Premier League title, conceding a last-minute goal to share the points with Fulham at Old Trafford. Free AJ staff. Mohamed Badr finally regained his freedom after being in detention for 7 months. Those were some of the trending topics in the past week. We will move to our online studio where we have a couple of callers waiting to bear their minds right after this break.
I think it would have been great if we had more time, but I think for the time that we did have to spend there, we were able to get a good glimpse of what's happening on ground versus just seeing it on TV or hearing news reports or general propaganda. So I think for me it would just been if we would have more time. I thought the session with Mr. Governor was also very informative, and again I hope that people will use that as an opportunity to follow up and continue to do their service as citizens.
Government of Ekiti State was willing to, as someone already observed, open the state up to outsiders who would come in and sort of assess the situation in the state and make remarks and of course promote that on social media, which I think was the objective of the event. I had reservations because I thought that perhaps if it was about feedback, the feedback that the government needed had to come from the people who are resident in the state who have experienced what the governor is doing in the state. But of course, after speaking to officials of the state, I got the sense that this was an ongoing process, and those that also came from outside the state were just part of a process that was ongoing, which started last week and hopefully will continue in the weeks and months ahead. So it's a good opportunity for those who are outside the state and those who are in the state to sort of witness what's happening and then make their comments and provide feedback. So yeah, it was impressive.
From the documentary was shown before the governor arrived, basically, it was duly noted that Ekiti State is an agrarian state, and but at the same time, Ekiti State is moving towards large-scale agriculture, which, with regards to macroeconomic development, is not a smart move. Basically, you can't ignore when a state has over 60% of subsistence farmers, and you ignore the 60% subsistence farmers and you feel large-scale farming is the best investment instead of giving this subsistence farmer a level playing ground and let some sort of natural economic rule occur. Things like that were issues that were supposed to be addressed. Then there was excessive focus on teachers. There was excessive focus on government employees, and I think, interestingly, the government noted the fact that the budget involvement that goes to the government maintenance was unsustainable, and I think he failed in that aspect, it was he accepted the fact that he wasn't creative. He accepted that basically there. So that's the issue I have. The government is justifying giving some sort of steroids to the economy. That doesn't work. You don't pump in money to the economy loosely. You don't give handouts, basically. You understand? You fashion a policy that basically will expand the capacity of subsistence farmers. These are things that was done in Indonesia in economies that are very similar to ours. So throughout the whole event, the governor actually accepted the fact that he has refused to be creative because of political priorities. And I think that's a very big Nigerian problem. You understand? So he accepted it, that's why I said I appreciate the fact that he was able to bring us on board. But at the same time, too, he has failures too as a government.
So let me ask you this: Are you aware that Ekiti
Yeah.
has? Are you aware that under Fahimi's administration, that he's attracted over $300 million in agricultural investments, and one of the key
300
focuses in
million.
their dollars in agricultural investments from the private sector. So it's not just
That is what I'm saying. These things are directed towards large-scale farming. It's not on
but
subsistence farming.
their focus in the state is also on modernizing agriculture. We cannot continue to do agriculture the same way we used to do 30, 40 years ago. So I don't understand, is that what the direction you believe that we should go?
Hello, Foyin. This is what I'm saying. For example, you're bringing in a whole foreign idea to a system, and you want that system to adapt all of a sudden. You understand?
No,
Subsistence farmers too, they have major. What I'm saying, what I'm saying is one thing to pump so much into a sector of a state, is another thing to sort of engage the right mechanisms for inclusion. You understand? If you're pumping that much money, what are the things you've done on including the smaller farmers, who basically are subsistence farmers? You understand? Those are the things that need to be. The major phrase now that we're dealing with in my own generation is inclusion. Those were not highlighted. That's my complaint. Those were not highlighted.
My other concern was that I believe that people did have the opportunity to ask the key questions, but we chose, or those who asked questions chose to ask questions that weren't along those lines. And so if you didn't use the opportunity or did any additional research, and you decided to ask questions that were either already answered or the answer to already, then you didn't really make use of the platform that was given to you.
That's what I'm saying.
But
Let me give an
focus
example.
has been moved into modernizing agriculture and not continuing to do agriculture the way it was done before. We cannot continue to stay stagnant and not be competitive with what's happening in the north.
In putting all of that together, but a situation where you sort of just get people every now and then to come and assess the situation, and then you pay them some money, and then they go back and make comments just to promote the state or the administration. I have a problem with that, and this is what Mark is doing with the federal government, Federal Ministry of Information program called Governor's Tour, where he just gets journalists and then they sort of tour all the states and see what projects are going on there. It might become a trend, but as I've already said, it's also a huge window of opportunity for people to sort of make money. So we have to be careful. I feel that people should cut government officials some slack. First of all, government officials are human beings, and they have challenges as well, and it's not always smooth for them. What happened was rather unfortunate. I think that his officials, his aides, the governor, his aides didn't do him any justice at all. He had provided information beforehand that he was going to be late, as he claims. Someone, of course, should have made that known to the public. And if they didn't do that, then it's just rather unfortunate. And you can't blame the governor for that. And a governor coming in and failing to apologize, well, he should have apologized. But then again, he's a human being, and sometimes these things escape your memory. And just to make a point about Governor Fayemi, it was my second time interacting with the governor in Ekiti State, and one of the things I noticed is that anytime he's interacting with young people, he comes dressed in very casual jeans and t-shirts and sneakers and whatever, just like young people would be dressed. But if you notice, he came in with an agbada on a Saturday morning or rather afternoon, and it struck me, and immediately I sort of said in my head that perhaps he wasn't dressed for this occasion because he had been somewhere else, or he was going to go somewhere else after this meeting with young people. So people should sort of, from that, get a sense that this wasn't deliberate. Perhaps the governor was engaged somewhere before the meeting with the young people, which could have been an emergency, or maybe after that. So I would make excuses for that, for him, regarding that.
And just to follow up with Atam on that, I don't know if anyone else realized when he did come into the building, we were all having our tea break, and it wasn't expected that tea break ended. He waited until everyone was able to be served, and they continued to eat, and then we were able to begin the program. So, like I said, like Atom said, I mean, it happens. People can run late, but I do believe that he also, didn't impose this lateness on us and tell the room, okay, well, just because it's tea break, I'm now here, let's start this program. He also respected our time as well, that we were having our tea break, and allowed us to continue to eat our meat pies.
For example, I came there to really, 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 really work and criticize the governor based on what I've observed. But the governor came here on more of a jamboree effect. Okay, we've hosted these people, this and that, blah, blah, blah. We already know what they're going to ask, and he left. I've been there I think I got there on the 5th. I paid for my hotel bills on the 5th because I didn't travel with my car, so I wanted to sort of be calm enough to be able to make my personal observations. And eventually, after moving around the state, very stressful, for about 12 hours and the governor came and spent less than 3 hours, or let's say 3.5 hours in total. Does this justify the cost of the whole event? Does this justify this event on its own? You can't keep us there for like 3 days, and at the end of the end of the day, spend that little with us on criticism and come back casually. We all left businesses, for Christ's sake. So basically, I think this is a responsibility from the governor, and the fact that I was even pushing it to the head, it wasn't impressive. It wasn't impressive at all. So let me ask every logical person here: how much you spend on the whole event? What was the objective of the whole event? How many hours did the governor spend with us? Compare that and tell me if it's logical.
Yeah, but
That's all.
Tosin, if I may, Victor.
Go ahead.
Yes. I think we need to move away from this perception that government is about the governor. I think we need to realize that government is about different institutions, different individuals heading those institutions. In my mind, of course, a lot of and they're expecting to engage the governor. But it wasn't just the governor, it was the government of Ekiti State. It was about commissioners, it was about heads of director general and all. So,
you still have the email. It was a no-hold-bar session with governor. In the email that was sent, it was a no-hold-bars with the governor. It was an interactive session that was meant to bring the governor down to our level. So basically, what was stated in the email was an interaction without any sort of social barrier. So that's the point I'm making.
But you do understand that a lot of the questions that you have and the things that you were observing you also had commissioners, people in the Senate that were also available, who handled these duties on a day-to-day basis. That may not necessarily be what the governor's activities are. So we're always so quick to want to speak to the governor, where in the reality is we need to be speaking to the commissioners.
You used to have the invitation that
even if I had yes, I have the invitation. But the questions that you were asking and the questions that you're interested in, they would be questions that would be answered by the commissioners, which you had an opportunity to also speak to the commissioners afterwards and at the event, but nobody asked.
They said they no outbar with the governor, not just the governor, with K Fayemi himself. That was what they said. That was what I went to Ikogosi for.
Victor,
you understand? So basically,
the government is more than the governor.
If I may,
can you hold it? Can you hold it?
If I may, Tosin, you said that it was a no-holds-barred meeting with the governor. Okay, that could have been the case. But then the same invitation that you allude to did not say how many hours you're going to spend with the governor.
That was quite an interesting discussion. We will now be meeting Governor Kayode Fayemi of Ekiti State, whom I spoke to on the sideline of a forum where he availed himself to questioning by bloggers and social media activists on his administration.